Hey there. Welcome to the Camden Famous podcast. I'm your host, April Shaw-Beaudoin. Whether you're a local, a seasonal visitor, or just curious about Midcoast Maine, you're in the right spot. We dive into the stories behind the must-visit places, from cozy eateries and unique shops to can't-miss attractions. For more insights and to join our community, check out our website at camdenfamous.com or follow us on Instagram at camdenfamous. Let's explore the best of Midcoast Maine together. The Camden Famous podcast is brought to you by The Wharf at Lyman Morse. The Wharf is a beautiful waterfront destination on the sunny side of Camden Harbor. The Wharf at Lyman Morse offers a one-of-a-kind dining, shopping, and lodging experience. Plus, don't miss the sunset over Camden Harbor from the Salt Wharf, their rooftop restaurant and bar. Visit thewharfcamden.com. That's the WHARF Camden.com to start your adventure today. Today we're joined by Chelsea Kravitz and Chris Dawson, the innovative minds behind the Place Bakery here in Camden. Since opening last summer, they've been the talk of the town. We'll uncover their New York to Midcoast Maine journey, the bakery's immediate success, and the surprises they've encountered along the way. Don't miss their story of bringing a slice of sweetness to Camden. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, we're so excited to dig into the most delicious bakery, micro bakery, I should say, in, I would say, all of Maine. Maybe all the country, maybe even all the world. I have done a little bit of traveling, and I always go have breakfast. And I can't believe that you are both just right down the street in downtown Camden. So the Place Bakery opened last July. Is that true?
Yes. We opened July 15th last year.
July 15th. I think I was there for the first day.
Yeah, you were.
I had my sticker and I was ready to love it. You guys have a great website and a great online presence, but I know that you're not Midcoast Maine natives. So if you would love to share a little bit about what brought you to Midcoast Maine.
So I'm originally from Long Island, New York, and Chris is from just outside of Boston, but we met in New York where we were both working, and we both had actually always wanted to live in Maine. And when we finally decided that it was time to get out of New York and move to Maine, we drove all the way up the coast and into Canada to poke around and explore and see where felt best, and Camden just felt like home. It just resonated with us immediately, and we looked around and there wasn't a bakery like what we do, so we started looking to see if there was anything for rent, and we found our house.
Wow.
Would you like to talk about me pressuring you into buying a house?
Sure. So we were originally looking for commercial real estate space to rent for our bakery, and the little ranch house that we ended up buying popped up because it's own commercial, because it used to be part of the inn that's next door to it. And I had always joked that I never wanted to own a house with stairs, so this house checked so many boxes that same day I snuck off into the bathroom and applied for a mortgage, and we put an offer in 3 days later. And I think we saw the house on Valentine's Day, and we had owned it by St. Patrick's Day when we first moved to Maine, and then we moved in 2 days before Easter of last year. So it was a quick one. I think we closed and moved in within like 45 days.
Wow, that is really fast.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been a whirlwind, but a great one. We've actually only known each other since April of 2022.
Oh, yes. I did want to back up there and talk a little bit about your story, because you didn't just arrive here and open a bakery on a whim. If you share that story and then you can talk about how you met, I think that's a really neat thing to share with our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually hired Chris to be a line cook at my restaurant that I opened back in New York. And he asked to learn to bake more. So I gave him shifts in the bakery kitchen, and he was a natural. So he became my full-time baker, and we fell in love with each other, which was complicated and messy, to say the least. But it was great. And despite realizing that, my life circumstances were miserable, working 120, 30 hours a week and not really having much of a life outside of that, I realized what I did want. And it was more of a life. And that is what we have now. We have our house and our bakery 10 feet apart from each other. We get to take breaks and take our dogs out in the yard. We get to have time together, time with friends, time with family. It's a life that I didn't have before.
That's amazing.
I met Chelsea when I was living on Long Island. I actually responded to an ad or a message on Indeed that she sent me because she was looking for a line cook, and I had just been kind of bouncing around, working in different kitchens, just kind of never super happy with it, and was just looking for work. So I took that job, figured it'd be something interesting to bide my time for a little bit, and little did I know that I was gonna basically flip my whole life upside down and start over. But it was a great start over. I didn't go to culinary school or anything like that, so I've always just been kind of following whatever interests me in kitchens, and I'd always wanted to learn how to bake. I was always interested in the wizardry that the pastry chefs were doing in the kitchens that they refused to tell anyone what they were up to, and she actually was willing to share. So I started poking around down there and realized that I was in a little bit more trouble than just learning how to bake, but here we are.
So a conversation that Chelsea and Chris and I were having before we turned on the mics today was that Chelsea didn't go to culinary school, which absolutely is blowing my mind. I think she should open a culinary school. But how did you come to be the baker that you are?
A lot of trial and error, heavy on the error. I think that's the way a lot of people learn. I couldn't afford college, and I didn't really have any interest in anything that wasn't related to food or art. And I didn't think that taking out loans in artistic fields was going to be a way to pay those loans off. So I got a job and paid my bills and learned in kitchens and bought cookbooks and practiced and just worked a lot and did what I could. And yeah, I mean, I've learned from a lot of people along the way. It's really, I think, a lot of times the best way to do it. And I think you kind of find your own voice in food that way a little bit better. I mean, Chris is self-taught as well. And, I think it's one of the things that we have a million things in common, which is how we got into trouble. But, it's one of the things that you can be kind of scrutinized for in the culinary world, especially like back in New York. People can look down on you for it if you don't have a fancy degree. The same way people look down on you if you don't have a fancy college degree and you're trying to work in some business field.
Did you have the reputation in New York that you have here, where just people are willing to drive from all over the state, all over New England to come and try your baked goods?
No. While we did have a lot of really wonderful regulars and people who loved our stuff, a lot of it was just kind of overlooked and didn't really feel appreciated, which was really unfortunate because we made a lot of really beautiful food. We had a breakfast lunch menu. We had a full coffee program. We had a cocktail program. We made beautiful pastries and breads. And we put so much into it, as much as we do now. And I mean, it's going to probably break your brain, but we actually taught ourselves to make croissants.
What?
Back in 2022.
What?
But that's part of the fun for us, is just constantly learning new things and evolving and growing and just figuring out how to make it better and more fun.
Wow. You are blowing my mind. My jaw is on the floor. It fell right on the floor when you said that, because I just assumed you must have had the craziest following in New York City, and then you decided, I really want to take a break and I'm coming to Midcoast Maine. I mean, the food there, and there's lines every week, especially in the summer, you sell right out. So for anyone who's listening, make sure you go and pre-order. And the website is
Oh, so our website is www.thisistheplace.me.
Yes. Okay. Go there and pre-order your delicious treats. Can you talk about some of the food that you make? Like, what are the staples?
So staples are definitely our classic all butter croissant and a chocolatine, which is just a Southern French term for a pain au chocolat. My family live in the south of France, and it's just a thing there. um, but we also make a cinnamon bun out of our croissant dough that
Yeah, it's
I don't know, it's
amazing.
just really homey and old school and classic, but also with a new twist. And it's definitely one of our best sellers. We started doing hand pies, both sweet and savory, that people love. So we have a chicken pot pie one and a barbecue pulled pork one. And we just love to make new things and be creative. And it's great with the summer coming, all of the produce and fun things to play with.
What's your favorite thing to make, Chris?
My favorite thing to make, I'm really fond of making the sourdough breads. I really enjoy that process. It's always changing, and it's always giving me the most problems, but it's the most fun. And I never really love the way that it looks, but I love the way that it tastes. And some days it looks better than others, and I enjoy that, because if it was always the same, I think I would get bored of it. And I also really like making the key lime pies, and they are also a sleeper hit of around here.
Okay.
I was surprised as to how much Maine has taken to the key lime pie, but they are very good. And there's a couple people here who eat them religiously. So
I believe it. And when people come in to your shop, they can also get coffee. What are some of the other things that you sell?
We have coffee, cold brew, a bunch of different really nice iced teas. We also have some really nice bottled juices in the fridge. We're going to be stocking the fridge with some more kind of grab and go items and small prepared cakes and pies and things once we install our new walk-in cooler and are able to produce more and store more prep and ingredients, which we're really looking forward to. And then we also have jams, our granola, jams we make in-house, our granola, and some merch and some fun hats, like my butter hat that I'm wearing.
I love your butter
You'll
hat.
see in the picture on Instagram. And yeah, we're making some fun t-shirts and tote bags that I've been designing. So yeah, I mean, lots of fun little things coming up.
Yeah.
she's hiding, but she actually designs all our website, all our branding, our little croissant man out front. That's all her doodles and her brainchild. So she's very talented, and she's now finally I get some T-shirts in my life. But we're gonna have T-shirts with our little place on it, and maybe one with all the different jam people on it, because we must have probably 12.5 types of jam at least going so far, and I'm sure there'll be more and more as we dig through the fruits and vegetables that get offered to us around here, because the bounty is insane. We're always blown away by the quality of product, and then also lots of times how cheap it truly is. It's amazing the things that we get to work with and that everyone around here gets to eat. And I mean, I worked in some of the nicer restaurants in the city, and the meat and the vegetables here are way nicer than the stuff that would be 3 times as expensive there.
Wow.
Yeah, it really has blown us away how much more affordable it has been to eat a lot healthier here, which is really nice. Like, we notice it when we go to the store. And of course, everything's gotten more expensive and everyone's noticed it and felt it. But compared to where we were, I mean, it was wild. So it's really, really nice. And there's so many incredible farms that we get to work with, like Fine Line Farms and Dandelion Springs. And we just feel so fortunate that we have so much access to so much beautiful produce all year round, too.
I would love to hear from you both. What else has surprised you about being here in Midcoast Maine, both personally and professionally? That's a question that always gets some fun answers from our guests.
I guess my answer, it kind of answers both personally and professionally, because I'm blown away by the community. We kind of came here not knowing anyone, and we both took restaurant jobs, and we quickly made a little friend group that feels like tighter and more succinct than any friend group I ever had in New York. And people are so willing to just kind of help you and you help them. And it's a big support community. We had a really hard time finding like contractors and things like that to help us. And I finally got Nash on the phone after calling him a couple times, and I think it was because I said the word bakery, and his ears perked up. But then we ran into some other problems, and he hooked us up with Tom Jackson, who helped us with other things, and it's just been like this huge support community. And like we bought a house that was owned by a big family in town that had owned a big parcel of land for quite some time, and we've had the son of the people that were living there has helped us move our rock wall, and he helped us find someone to plow our driveway for us. And it's just been like this amazing thing that I feel like in New York, everyone would ask you who you were using to try and get the information, but no one would actually point you in the right direction. So that's been really the best thing. And
yeah, I mean, it blew us away that, the first weekend we moved into our new home, the son of the couple that lived there came by on Easter and brought us flowers and a little card to welcome us. And he has become a friend, he's helped us out. Like, he's one of our neighbors and he's one of our friends. And like, we love that. And we've gotten to know him and his wife, and they've gotten to know us, and they've been so supportive of everything we're doing. And it's really nice to know that like they're happy with what we're doing with the property and with their parents' home. I mean, it was a part of their family for so long. It went back generations, and the community has been so wonderful and so supportive. And we know that, we're not from here, and there's a lot of people who have been here for a really long time. So we wanted to make sure that we were coming in and being respectful of the community that's here, and trying to give the community here what they wanted and needed. And so far, that's what we've heard from everyone is this was what we needed. This was what we were lacking. And everyone's been so appreciative, and we hear so many thank yous, and it really is so heartwarming.
Now, since you both are transplants to Midcoast Maine, and we've had probably a mix of 50-50 people who've been in Midcoast Maine a really long time, or people who've just moved here in the past couple of years. And I think our listeners would be excited to hear, what are the things that you love to do? What are the places you love to eat coming from New York and being in Midcoast Maine now?
My kind of weirdly famous favorite place to go is John's Ice Cream Factory. We went there on either that or Camden Island, and there are two different reasons, but they were both recommendations of people we worked with, and we were kind of like, all right, yeah, I'm sure the ice cream is going to be great because of the milk and all that. And we went there, and the peanut butter ice cream there is just like, it's super addicting. And then one time my brother was coming to visit, and we called up and got an ice cream cake for him, and we asked them to write "Welcome in Maine" on it, and then they asked what colors we wanted, and I said, surprise me. And we got the brightest, greenest cake I've ever seen, and it said, "Welcome to Manel" on it. Welcome to Monel. So I was like, yeah, that's perfect. And we took it. So that's been a running joke. And I just really like that place.
Something else we really love to do is just kind of drive around and explore. We are still new to the area, so we like to go to a lot of the events and just see the different towns, the different beaches, parks. We love all the different fairs and festivals and activities. We loved the Union Fair. We will absolutely be making sure we go to more days of it next year, this summer, this year. What is time? And we also really, really love Wasses and are probably there too often. Wasses? I don't really know.
I don't know how to say it either, but
we love it.
Right. Yeah, I can't believe, so I'm not a foodie, like someone that can take a bite of something and say, all right, these are all the ingredients that are in that food. But I can definitely tell when something is amazing. And there's so many amazing places to eat up here. And yours is I get so excited on the weekends when I know that I can come down and get a croissant, or I think it's something called a Persian, what is that?
Oh, So it's a old Camden bakery thing. It's called a Persian bun. And I think the name was originally a Pershing bun. I'm not sure exactly where it was created, but it's got like a long
A
theoretical
storied
history on the internet somewhere. But Camden Bakery used to make it, and it was a fried cinnamon bun with chocolate frosting. So a lot of times, like old Camden folks will come in and they have this memory, this food memory from this bakery. So they'll ask for it, and we'll have like unglazed cinnamon buns, and we have our chocolate frosting that we make for cakes and things. And so we'll chocolate frost a cinnamon bun for them. And because it's our croissant dough, it's got that really flaky, crispy texture, almost as if it was fried, but it's not.
It's
greasy.
heaven. It is heaven. I am so hungry right now. So I had Suzanne Vizethin on, who owns Mariners, the new buttermilk at Mariners. And she was talking about you two. She's like, this is just the best. You know, she's going to offer her own version of brunch, which is sit down. But she said whenever she's craving something really delicious, the croissants are just to die for. That's where she heads.
That's so sweet.
So as we've talked about, we are recording this podcast in March, but it is going to be hitting the airwaves in June or July. So summer is going to be in full swing when everyone is listening to this podcast. What do you have on your calendar that you are looking forward to sharing with the community? Talk about your hours this summer and what you're looking forward to for summer.
So our hours this summer will be Friday through Sunday, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. or sell out. Hopefully less sellouts with our new big fridge. Highly recommend pre-ordering if you want to make sure that you get your favorite thing that you really, really want. And we will also be doing a few markets at the Lost Kitchen this summer on Tuesdays. The dates will be confirmed at some point soon. So you'll find them on our website and our Instagram and all of those places. Our Instagram and Google are the best place to find any updates about our hours or any changes like that. I update it religiously.
That's so good to know, because so many people in Midcoast Maine do not.
She'll even do it if we like close for the day. So definitely check the Google and the Instagram.
That's awesome.
And pre-order, and then you don't have to wait in line. You can just sneak right in and grab your stuff. So I don't know why more people don't do that. It makes life really easy for you.
Yeah, and we're going to try and set up kind of like a pre-order area that's outside with like coolers for cold stuff so that it's even easier to grab your pre-order.
Oh, great.
And not even have to kind of go past the lines and everything else. If you want to grab a coffee, we're going to try and set up like a self-pay checkout so that it's nice and simple, streamlined for people who want to just get in and out.
That's awesome. Now, the podcast cannot complete without you answering the question that every business owner answers, and that is, what would you say your customers would say you're famous for?
I would say that our customers would say that we're famous for kind of old home nostalgia meets the fanciest grandma cooking you're ever going to find. I always joke with Chelsea that she makes fancy grandma food, but I mean it as the highest compliment. It just it hits you kind of in the soul, and a lot of people will come in and be like, oh, it tastes like this from this part of my life, and then they'll always kind of be like, but it's a little bit better. And I mean, we do use some fancy burlap and barrel spices and some other things, but it is just, there's a lot of love in that food, and I think you can taste it.
Agreed.
I would say it's for being hard to find. We have a lot of people that are like, it was so hard to find you. And I'm like, all right, I'll make some more signs. I'm working on it. I've been busy. I'm getting there.
Those are the best answers I've heard on this podcast yet. Thank you both.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
And before you go, can you tell everyone exactly where to find you on Instagram and online? One more time.
You can find us on Instagram at theplace_Maine. And then our website is www.theplace_maine.com. This is theplace.me.
Thank you so much, both of you, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. To learn even more about what makes Midcoast Maine so special, visit our website at camdenfamous.com or head over to Instagram where you can find us at Camden Famous.